last 2 years?
Well, just in the areas I just talked about, being very sharp in how we take advantage of our personnel and the schemes we're putting out there to, instead of, I call it wearing out pads. Sometimes you run a play that has no chance. I mean, just by the numbers or the way they line up, you're just running into a wall, or you're wearing out pads. It's not a smart play, and rarely are we in those situations where we don't have an advantage or we feel our opportunity's good here. And so that helps Sam, and I think Josh, along with Kevin in the details and the schemes and the way we're working it. But Josh, I think, has done a great job as continuing to develop him technically, just with his footwork and whether he's in the pocket, whether he's on the move, and using his body to throw. All of it. It's pretty amazing when you look at what Sam has been able to do in 2 years.
You got to like Kevin's mental approach too. You talked about him having an edge,
he has. Well, yeah. Again, I think, but to me, the more the attitude and the overall attitude of the offense, I think, is presented from Kevin and the offensive coaches of this is how we're going to be, and so it isn't just Sam, but he benefits from everyone else, also doing well around him.
Coach, after every ball game, almost your opponent's coaches or one of the coaches has commented on how great your offensive line is. How would you rate this offensive line, perhaps?
Ask me in about a few weeks, but it's obviously one of our better ones. We had some pretty darn good ones there in 2003 and 4, that were also pretty darn good. So to me, it's hard to say which one's better than the other, but it's certainly up there.
Bob, you lead the nation in red zone productivity. I think 56 trips, and you've scored 50 touchdowns now. What in the red zone?
If we could make some field goals, it'd even be better.
What about Sam or the way Kevin's calling plays, or in comparison to the past, what has made you so successful?
I think just with some of the things I said earlier, I really, our offensive guys and Kevin being the coordinator of it, and those guys are really come up with good ways to attack coverages or run the football, and execute, and the guys are executing it. We do, emphasize it a lot. We work it a lot with each other, good on good, offense, defense, and trying to make each other better at it. It's emphasized, and those guys are doing a nice job, detailed plans and how they're attacking different defensive schemes. And again, the players executing it.
Bob, can you tell what your scenario at defensive end is going to look like next week?
Yeah, it's the guys we have. We don't get to go draft or get anybody off the free agency wire, and so it'll be those guys along with Price Macon, who's played before, and then we'll probably work a guy like J.R. Bryant a little bit, as a stand-up D end and off the edge out there as well.
I know it's 10 or 11 days until you play Tech, but can you comment on what's the difference between Tech the last few years and now? I mean, how have they gone from like a top 20 team to a top 5 team? What is there a?
Well, I imagine it's the overall team, not just Mike's offenses have always been highly productive. Their defense has played well. It's obvious too. Their running game is a big factor. Though I've always felt it's always been a more of a factor than ever been written about. But again, that's happening more, and I would just say the overall success of the whole team, has moved them into this position. I just don't ever believe you're winning on one side of the ball. It's the overall production of all areas.
Bob, you talked at length about what Mike did for you that 1 year he was here. Can you talk about what kind of impact he had even after he left, in terms of what he left behind, and how that helped you in any way in the years after '99?
Well, I just think, you have to start somewhere, and we started with that system, and so from then on, we just evolved from it. We've kept, some parts of it that we like, or we like all of it, but we've adapted it. It was a starting point, and then from there, through recruiting, we've had to play to our players' strengths. And there's no denying, I think, that we've done that well. But but you had to begin somewhere. And you know, and I remember when we did begin, we brought in, he didn't bring a bunch of other guys from Kentucky with him or guys he had backgrounds with, but I was emphatic that anyone we hired offensively, that they understood this is what we're doing. I'm not looking for a conglomeration of ideas, and we're not going to mush everything together. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it well. And from there, as the years pass, we'll evolve to whatever we will be, depending on the strengths of the offense. But this is where we're going to begin, and then from there, as the years have gone, we've added some run game, added this, that, and the other to it, and like anything, 10 years later, you've evolved into whatever we have now. But and you can't, the other part was getting us started with quarterbacks. You guys weren't writing about anybody that was here on campus, and look at those three guys, and for 6 years, between Josh and you got Heisman Trophy runner-up, AP Player of the Year, and countless other awards Josh won, and then Nate Hibble, Rose Bowl MVP and Big 12 champion, and then, of course, Jason White, won about every quarterback award you could win. So, that part of it really got us, going, and as far as having some quarterback play and being able to attract other quarterbacks like Sam Bradford now, though he'd probably be a 5-star recruit now than he was what you guys are. Those experts rated him out of high school, but anyway, I'm just kidding. But anyhow, it's that part was big for us too.
Bob, back to '99, I think it was Texas A&M here, 51-6. Was that the game where that kind of this is what our offense can do, and this is what this program can do?
Well, as much as anything, it was more. I guess to me, it's one of the more special games that I remember as well, in kind of in my feelings, because of this homecoming weekend, and A&M had been beating the heck out of us for a good number of years, and some of the scores pretty bad from, I don't recall what they were, but I remember everyone telling me about it. So, to come in and to play well, I remember too, oddly enough, we're staying in Oklahoma City all the way up there. I just went with how things were, and we weren't staying here in town yet, and we weren't a block pulling out of the hotel, and our bus broke down. So we had Stalker McDougal jumping a van behind us. We had the whole offensive team pile on the defensive bus, guys sitting on armchairs, standing up. Some cars were following us, piled in cars and vans, and we had one bus come into the game with all of us on it and a few cars. And but we didn't let it bother us. Our guys were anxious to play, and then to win like that, with some adversity, it could be a distraction for a team that wasn't used to winning or used to being beat by somebody, and we went after it. And it was a big step for us, I felt, to get us maybe over the hump early, and and I remember Pat Fletcher saved my rear end on a field goal fake and made a first down, and he had no business making. Every time I see him, I still hug him and thank him for it. But so anyway, it was a big game to get us, I think, just like you said, to get us over the hump and start changing things.
Coach, when you hired Mike Leach in '99, you said that you wanted to hire a guy who's difficult to stop, he's a coordinator against, and tough to prepare for. Do you still see that now, 10 years later, he's tough to prepare for?
Oh, yeah. Not so much that you don't know what they're going to do, but you just have to execute against it. And I think that's one of the beauties of Mike and his system and what they do, that he's not trying to fool you, but this is what we do. And I appreciated that when he was here, that there's a lot of ideas. You watch someone, hey, we could implement this. What it is, no, this is what we do. And